Significant weather across Australia tomorrow. The 25th of January brings typical summer conditions, but with some notable regional variations worth your attention. I've examined the latest from the Bureau of Meteorology, looked at the current model data, and there are some important details you need to know. Right now, conditions across the country are showing the classic summer split we expect this time of year, but tomorrow shapes up to deliver some fairly distinct patterns depending on where you are. Let's break this down properly, starting with the pressure setup. We've got a relatively stable high pressure system sitting over the interior, which is keeping things dry across much of central and Western Australia. Meanwhile, along the eastern seaboard, we are dealing with increased moisture and instability. That S creating very different conditions from east to west. The temperature gradient across the continent tomorrow is substantial. We're looking at a spread of nearly 20 degrees between the coolest capital and the warmest. That's not unusual for January, but it is worth noting how these systems are positioned. Sydney and the New South Wales coast are in for fairly typical summer weather, though wetter than average. Daytime temperatures reaching 24 to 26 degrees. Come evening, you're looking at 19 to 20 degrees. That's actually fairly comfortable for this time of year. But here's what you need to watch. January this year is running significantly wetter than the long-term average for Sydney. We're retracking near 94 millimetres for the month across about 27 rainy days. Tomorrow fits that pattern. There is a high probability of scattered showers throughout the evening hours. The moisture S coming from a coastal trough that has been sitting just offshore. Nothing dramatic, but it's feeding enough instability to keep those showers going. The Access model and the European model are in agreement on this. Scattered activity, nothing severe, but enough to make it wet. Winds along the New South Wales coast are brisk. We're re-looking at 25 kilometres per hour on average. That is creating fairly choppy conditions on the water. If you're re-heading out on the harbour or anywhere along the coast, be aware it's going to be blustery. Sea temperatures are sitting at 21 to 22 degrees, which is pleasant enough if you are keen for a swim, but those winds will make it feel cooler. Newcastle, Wollongong and right up to Coffs Harbour are seeing similar conditions. Daytime highs in the mid-20s, evening temperatures dropping to around 19 to 20 degrees, and that chance of afternoon and evening showers. Keep the umbrella handy if you are heading out tomorrow evening. Moving south to Victoria, Melbourne S running warmer than average at the moment. As of mid-January, the city S tracking about 0.2 degrees above the historical average. Not a massive anomaly, but it's been a warm summer in Melbourne. Tomorrow, Melbourne reaches daytime highs of 27 to 30 degrees. We could nudge close to the 30-degree mark by mid-afternoon. That S noticeably warmer than what Sydney S forecast to see. The warm air mass over Victoria is more stable, less moisture, which is why temperatures are climbing higher. But here's the thing with Melbourne. Come evening, temperatures drop sharply. We are talking about 15 degrees overnight. That's a 15-degree temperature range from day to night. Quite significant. If you are heading out tomorrow evening in Melbourne, you'll want a jacket. The temperature difference from afternoon to evening is substantial. Melbourne is also seeing moderate rainfall during January. About 16 rainy days with total rainfall around 84 millimetres for the month. Tomorrow carries a chance of showers, particularly in the evening as temperatures drop. The models suggest there's enough instability for isolated showers to develop, though nothing widespread. Wind speeds in Melbourne are averaging 18 kilometres per hour. A bit gentler than Sydney, but still providing a decent breeze. That LL make the evening feel cooler than the actual temperature suggests. You know what they say about Melbourne weather. 4 seasons in one day. And tomorrow looks like it'll deliver on that reputation. Hot during the day, cool with possible showers by evening. Be prepared for changeable conditions heading north to Brisbane. Queensland's capital is in its warmest period of the year. January is traditionally the hottest month in Brisbane, and tomorrow reflects that. Daytime temperatures reaching 28 to 29 degrees with moderate to high humidity levels. That's the key difference between Brisbane and the southern cities, the humidity. It is that subtropical climate at work. Evening temperatures remain quite warm at around 22 degrees. Unlike Sydney and Melbourne, Brisbane's evening temperatures don't drop off as much. What you need to watch in Brisbane is the afternoon and evening storm potential. During January, the city typically sees about 7 rainy days, but total rainfall can reach 210 millimetres. That S because when it rains in Brisbane, it really rains. We re-talking tropical thunderstorms. They blow in quickly, dump heavy rain, then clear out. Tomorrow afternoon into evening, there's a solid chance of these storms developing. The sea breeze convergence combined with the heat and humidity creates the perfect setup. If you're replanning outdoor activities tomorrow, Arvo, in Brisbane, keep an eye on the sky. These storms can be quite intense while they last, though they usually move through fairly quickly. The Gold Coast, Cairns, Townsville, right across southeast Queensland and up into far north Queensland, you're all dealing with similar conditions. High temperatures, high humidity, and that likelihood of afternoon and evening thunderstorms. It's typical wet season stuff for the north, but worth being prepared for. Perth is enjoying some of the best weather in the country tomorrow. Western Australia benefits from that Mediterranean climate, dry, sunny summers. And the 25th of January in Perth is shaping up to be a beauty. Brilliant sunshine with 11 to 12 hours of sun throughout the day. Daytime temperatures reaching 30 to 32 degrees. Now that's hot, but it won't feel as oppressive as Brisbane because the humidity levels are much lower. Dry heat versus humid heat makes a big difference in how comfortable it feels. Evenings in Perth drop to around 18 to 20 degrees, quite pleasant. What's particularly notable is Perth has very little chance of rain during January. We're re-talking about 1 to 2 rainy days for the entire month. Tomorrow carries virtually no rain risk. If you want dry, sunny summer weather, Perth is the place to be right now. Adelaide S sitting in a fairly favourable position tomorrow. January is the warmest month in Adelaide, but conditions are moderate compared to some of the extremes we are seeing elsewhere. Daytime temperatures reaching 26 to 27 degrees. Evening lows around 17 to 18 degrees. These are fairly comfortable temperatures. Not as extreme as the inland areas, not as humid as Brisbane, just solid summer weather. Adelaide sees very little rainfall during January. About 2 rainy days with total rainfall around 33 millimetres for the month. Tomorrow carries minimal rain risk. Dry, sunny conditions. The high pressure over South Australia is keeping things stable. Down in Hobart, you're dealing with the coolest conditions of all the capital cities. Tasmania's geographical position gives it a more temperate climate compared to the mainland. Temperatures tomorrow ranging from 18 to 21 degrees during the day, dropping to 12 to 14 degrees in the evening. That's substantially cooler than what Brisbane or Perth are seeing. But for Hobart in January, these are pleasant, mild conditions. Hobart is also one of the drier capitals during January. About 13 rainy days with total rainfall of 23 millimetres. Tomorrow looks fairly settled. Good weather for outdoor activities if you're in Tasmania. Darwin, you're right in the thick of the tropical wet season. January is the wettest month of the year in Darwin, and tomorrow continues that pattern. We're re-looking at an average of 28 rainy days during January with total rainfall reaching up to 340 millimetres. That's the highest of all Australian cities. Tomorrow carries a high probability of heavy tropical thunderstorms during the afternoon and evening. Temperatures in Darwin reaching 31 to 33 degrees during the day, staying at 24 to 25 degrees overnight. Humidity is very high, typically above 80%. It's sticky, uncomfortable conditions. That S, the wet season for you. If you are in Darwin tomorrow, afternoon and evening storms are likely. Heavy rain, lightning, strong winds. Typical build-up season weather. These storms can be quite intense, so be prepared. Now, inland regions, Alice Springs, Uluru, the central desert areas. Conditions are harsh tomorrow. Daytime temperatures reaching 35 to 40 degrees, potentially higher in some locations. This is serious heat. But here's the thing with desert climates. Evening temperatures drop sharply. We could see overnight lows down to 20 to 25 degrees. That is a massive daily temperature range. The lack of moisture in the air means temperatures swing dramatically between day and night. Conditions are bone dry, very little rainfall. Solar radiation is extremely high. If you are travelling to these areas tomorrow, you need to be well prepared. Plenty of water, high SPF sunscreen, and avoid outdoor activities during the middle of the day. This heat is dangerous if you're not prepared for it. Looking at the broader meteorological pattern, what we're seeing tomorrow is fairly typical for late January. The monsoon trough is active across the north, bringing moisture and storms to Darwin and far north Queensland. The subtropical ridge is positioned over the interior, keeping things dry across central and western Australia. And along the eastern seaboard, we've got that coastal trough providing moisture and instability. The models show this pattern holding for the next few days. No major systems moving through, just the continuation of summer conditions with regional variations. One thing worth noting is the bushfire situation. With the dry conditions across much of the interior and the heat we are seeing, fire danger remains a concern in drought-affected areas. If you are in bushfire-prone regions, check the fire danger rating for tomorrow. Total fire bans may be in place in some areas. The heat across the inland areas combined with low humidity creates elevated fire risk. Any ignition source, whether from lightning, equipment or human activity, can quickly become serious. Be aware of the conditions where you are. For those in flood-prone areas, particularly in Queensland and northern New South Wales, the ongoing wet conditions mean soil saturation is high. Heavy rainfall from thunderstorms tomorrow could lead to localised flooding. The usual spots that flood quickly during heavy rain, you know where they are. Avoid driving through floodwater. If it's flooded, forget it. Now, practical advice for tomorrow. If you're in Sydney, Newcastle or anywhere along the New South Wales coast, keep an umbrella with you. Those scattered showers can pop up fairly quickly. The winds are brisk, so if you're on the water, be cautious. Melbourne, you are dealing with that big temperature swing. Hot during the day, much cooler by evening. Dress in layers. What's comfortable at 3 p.m, one tea be comfortable at 8 p.m. Brisbane and South East Queensland, watch for afternoon and evening storms. They can be intense. If you hear thunder, get inside. Don T be caught out in the open. Perth and Adelaide, you've got excellent weather. Enjoy it. Just be sun smart. High UV levels, so slip on a shirt, slop on sunscreen, slap on a hat. Darwin, the wet season is doing its thing. Afternoon storms are likely. Be prepared for heavy rain and possible power outages. Inland areas, this heat is serious. Stay well hydrated. Limit outdoor activities during the peak heat of the day. Check on elderly neighbours and mates. Look after your livestock if you've got them. Make sure they have access to shade and water. For everyone across Australia tomorrow, sun protection is important. UV levels are high right across the country. Even in the southern states where temperatures are moderate, the UV index is still significant. Sunburn happens quickly this time of year. Stay hydrated, particularly in the hot, dry regions. Dehydration is a real risk when temperatures are pushing into the 30s and 40s. Drink water regularly, not just when you feel thirsty. If you're redoing any strenuous outdoor work tomorrow, do it early in the morning or late in the afternoon. The middle of the day is the worst time to be exerting yourself in this heat. Keep an eye on the Bureau of Meteorology warnings. If conditions change, if storms become severe, if fire danger increases, they'll issue warnings. Don't ignore them. One last thing, temperature changes and weather shifts like we're seeing across different parts of the country can affect how you feel physically. If you've been dealing with headaches, sinus issues, or just feeling generally off, the weather patterns could be contributing to that. The big temperature swings between day and night, the changes in pressure systems, they can affect people. Take it easy if you're not feeling great. The overall picture for tomorrow, the 25th of January, is typical summer weather across Australia with significant regional differences. Hot and dry in the west and interior, warm and humid with storms in the north and Queensland, mild and showery along parts of the eastern seaboard. Cool and pleasant in Tasmania. Nothing extreme is forecast, but conditions require attention, particularly the heat inland, the storm potential in Queensland, and the ongoing wet pattern in New South Wales. Be prepared for the conditions in your area. Check the forecast again tomorrow morning in case anything has changed, and use common sense. If conditions look dodgy, adjust your plans accordingly. That is the forecast for the 25th of January 2026. Stay safe, stay prepared, and we'll keep you updated as